When you think of Cleopatra, what comes to mind? A beautiful queen? Dramatic love stories? Or maybe epic power struggles? Cleopatra is one of history's most iconic figures, but there's so much more to her than meets the eye. In today's episode of Lost Legends, we're diving into some of the craziest facts about Cleopatra that will completely change the way you see her. Cleopatra wasn't just a queen, she was a trailblazer, the first in her dynasty to learn the Egyptian language and embrace local customs. Talk about cultural appreciation. While many of her predecessors ruled as foreign monarchs in Egypt, Cleopatra made an effort to integrate with her people. She even went as far as to appear in public in traditional Egyptian garb, blending seamlessly into the rich culture that defined the ancient civilization. Her ability to blend two distinct worlds, Greek and Egyptian, made her a uniquely powerful ruler who wasn't just a figurehead, but an active leader. Here's another shocker. Cleopatra's legendary beauty might just be a myth. While ancient texts and Hollywood portray her as an exceptionally beautiful woman, the real Cleopatra was likely not the classic beauty you might expect. Ancient coins show her with a hooked nose, sharp features, and a strong jawline. Not exactly the picture of classical beauty. But this is exactly what makes Cleopatra so fascinating. Her true power came not from her looks, but from her intellect and charisma. She was a master diplomat, capable of navigating the treacherous political landscape of her time. She spoke at least 7 languages fluently, including Egyptian, and could converse with nearly anyone, from the common folk to the most powerful rulers. She didn't need to rely on beauty, she relied on brains, and those brains were her greatest weapon. Let's talk about Cleopatra's intellectual pursuits, which are often overshadowed by her dramatic relationships. While Cleopatra was famous for her passionate love affairs with Julius Caesar and Mark Antony, she was also deeply committed to knowledge. We all know about the Great Library of Alexandria, one of the most famous centers of learning in the ancient world. But did you know Cleopatra had her own massive library? She inherited it from her ancestors, who were equally obsessed with collecting knowledge. Cleopatra's passion for learning was no passing interest. She was not only a patron of the arts and sciences, but also contributed to them. Some historians even suggest that she wrote several works on subjects like medicine and alchemy, showcasing her sharp mind and thirst for knowledge. Cleopatra also understood the power of spectacle. One of her wildest party tricks was dissolving a pearl in vinegar and drinking it. Sounds bizarre, right? But Cleopatra did this to win a bet with Mark Antony about who could host the most extravagant banquet. The pearl, worth an enormous fortune, was part of her strategy to dazzle Antony and show off her incredible wealth. It was more than just a party trick. It was a statement about her opulence and influence. Cleopatra knew how to create lasting impressions, not just with words, but with grand gestures that made her unforgettable. In another shocking twist, Cleopatra once faked her own death to manipulate Mark Antony. After hearing false reports of her demise, Antony fell into despair and attempted suicide. The moment Cleopatra revealed she was alive, it wasn't just a dramatic rescue, it was a clever political move. By faking her death, she was testing Antony's loyalty and devotion. In the end, it was a gamble that revealed the depth of their emotional and political connection. Cleopatra knew how to play the dangerous game of love and power like no one else. And if you think Cleopatra's ability to captivate others ended with her intellect and love affairs, think again. She was a true innovator in the beauty industry. Cleopatra had her own perfume factory and was known for creating signature scents. Archaeologists even found remnants of what they believed to be her perfumes. This wasn't just about luxury. Her perfumes were a strategic tool, crafted with the intention of enhancing her personal brand and influencing those around her. Cleopatra was ahead of her time, using scent to seduce, engage, and leave a lasting mark on anyone she encountered. But Cleopatra's influence didn't stop with beauty. She was a military leader, commanding one of the most powerful naval fleets of her time. During her reign, Egypt's navy was a force to be reckoned with. Cleopatra didn't just sit back and let others fight her battles. She personally oversaw naval operations, ensuring her fleet was a key asset in her political strategies. Her navy played a critical role in her alliances and wars, especially in the Battle of Actium. where her fleet joined forces with Antony's to face off against Octavian. Though the battle ended in defeat, Cleopatra's involvement in military affairs marked her as a ruler who didn't shy away from the hard work of leadership. And of course, we can't talk about Cleopatra without mentioning her dramatic end. The snakebite story is legendary, but the truth is far more complicated. While many believe Cleopatra took her own life by allowing an asp to bite her, some historians believe she may have been poisoned or used a drug cocktail. Regardless of how she died, her death marked the end of an era, the end of the Ptolemaic dynasty in Egypt, and the final chapter of her complex legacy. Cleopatra's death also sparked a wave of myth and legend, cementing her place as one of the most unforgettable figures in history. Her life and death have inspired countless works of art, literature, and film, ensuring that her story lives on in the public imagination. Cleopatra's legacy is so much more than just a queen with a pretty face. She was a brilliant, bold, and cunning ruler who navigated the intricate webs of politics, love, and war with unmatched skill. From commanding fleets to writing books, Cleopatra lived a life that was larger than legend.